With us this morning via Skype to discuss global security concerns, a cyber and international security expert and contributor to the Washington Times, Eric Schiffer. Good morning, Eric. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Nice to be with you.
So your take on this manhunt that is still underway right now in Brussels for this alleged third accomplice to the airport bombing?
Well, look, I think that we're beginning to get clues. It certainly appears that police in Brussels are certainly being very aggressive in tracking down every possible clue. They found some things, a nail bomb, other chemical weapon potential leads, as well as there also was a manual, an ISIS-related manual that will assist them, obviously, in understanding how ISIS is doing their current training. So there will be more and more leads. Ultimately, hopefully, they're going to be able to track down this third individual and be able to interrogate and get additional clues.
You were saying before in an article in the Washington Times back on January 21st that political correctness is radical Islam's best friend. How do you mean?
Well, I think, look, when you cannot begin to discuss what might be individuals that could be similar in nature, in behavior, in certain aspects of where they may come from different countries, we make ourselves less safe. And so I think we need to be able to discuss more in this country without the fear of it seeming biased or prejudicial, because that's certainly not the intent. The intent is to keep the American public safe.
And on that note, you advocate for tighter security. What more could we be doing here in the United States? I mean, already when you go to try and catch a flight, just getting through security is already a hassle. What more could we be doing?
Well, look, I think what we saw today or yesterday was that the fact that we're dealing with soft targets. So when you have soft targets, one of the best things that we can do is to have more police that are not necessarily clothed. So undercover police that could have intercepted what we saw happen the other day. And so that is certainly one of the things that can be done. Certainly there are profiling techniques that could be more, I think, aggressive in nature, not dissimilar to what goes on in airports, certainly in Israel and other places where they're far more aggressive. So there are proactive techniques that we can do, and I'd like to see more of that. The last thing is the encryption argument. I mean, you have Apple that won't let people even look at telephones. And I think the privacy argument, I'm a big privacy guy, but not when it comes to the security of the American public. So I think there could be more done to balance this, getting tech companies in with the government, finding ways to be able to give government leads without making phones vulnerable to hacking. That should happen.
One thing I want to touch on, you asking the question you touched on in terms of with Israel and the airports there. All this costs money. It's a much larger scale operation than obviously we can say let's do these things. Is there a nation out there that is doing, that could be a model for the rest of the world that is doing the kinds of things that you feel like need to be done?
Well, look, I think I come back to Israel. I think Israel has been dealing with this for decades now, and they certainly have very interesting proactive techniques that we can learn from to assist us.
What are some of those techniques? I mean, just very quickly, we're out of time, but
they certainly have more undercover police. They certainly do more aggressive, more sophisticated algorithm-based profiling. That's another technique. But I think the bigger issue here is we have to recognize that we're not going to be able to cover everything. There will be soft target vulnerabilities. That's the reality. The good thing the public should know is that this didn't happen in a secure environment. So, for instance, it didn't happen once they went through security. It didn't happen on a plane. So those areas are safe. They do a great job. Certainly law enforcement and Homeland Security does a wonderful job in those arenas.
Okay. It's true. All right. Eric Schiffer waking up early for us to join us live from Los Angeles this morning. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.